Imagine this. You're holding a coin so ordinary, so small, that you wouldn't give it a second glance at the gas station counter. A 1961 Lincoln Memorial penny. Just 1 cent. But what if I told you that same coin, with the tiny D mint mark from Denver, could hold a staggering secret? Not just worth a few dollars, not even thousands, but an unbelievable current market value soaring as high as $961,000. Almost 1 million. From a penny. Now pause for a second. Think about it. How many times in your life have you brushed aside pennies, tossed them into jars, or left them buried in the couch cushions? What if the key to wealth you've been searching for has been sitting in your pocket all along? Let me ask you something. What would you do if you found out that one of the most overlooked coins in American history could be your ticket to a wealthy lifestyle you never thought possible? But here's the catch. Not every 1961 penny is special. Only the rarest, most flawless survivors of time carry this extraordinary value. And unless you know exactly what to look for, you might throw away your chance at a fortune. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to reveal the mystery, the reason why collectors are willing to pay life-changing sums, and how to discover if the coin in your possession could be the one. Let's start with a little history. The year was 1961. John F. Kennedy was president, America was racing toward the stars, and the Lincoln Memorial had just become the iconic backdrop on the reverse of the penny. Millions upon millions of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint. To most people, they were common, disposable. But hidden among the ocean of ordinary coins were rare examples struck with remarkable precision. Flawless surfaces, strong details, and untouched by circulation. And here's where things get interesting. A coin in near-perfect mint state condition, graded by top authorities like PCGS or NGC, doesn't just become a collector's item. It becomes a treasure. That's why one specimen of the 1961 D Lincoln cent has commanded a jaw-dropping current market value of $961,000. Yes, you heard me correctly. $961,000. Now you might be asking, why? Why would anyone pay nearly $1 million for a penny? The answer lies in scarcity. Imagine billions of coins made, but only a microscopic handful surviving in flawless perfection. To a collector, rarity is not just value. It's obsession. It's the chance to own a piece of history that no one else on earth can claim. But here's a twist. Not every high-value coin is obvious. Some 1961 D pennies are worth small fortunes because of hidden errors, a double die, a misaligned strike, or tiny imperfections created during minting. Think of it like winning the lottery, but instead of picking numbers, you're spotting details on a coin most people ignore. And this is where fear comes in. How many of these coins have been lost, spent, or melted down simply because their owners didn't know? Could you have already given away a fortune in change without realizing it? Don't panic just yet. There's still time. And here's the exciting part. Anyone, including you, can search their collection, their change jar, or even inheritances left in dusty boxes. You don't need Wall Street. You don't need a Silicon Valley startup. Sometimes, wealth is already in your hands. Let me break the tension with a quick laugh. Imagine walking into Starbucks, handing over a rare penny worth nearly $1 million, just to buy a $5 coffee. That barista would be smiling for the rest of their life. So what do you do now? The path is simple but urgent. First, check your coins. Look closely at every 1961 penny with a D mint mark. Examine its condition. If it looks uncirculated, untouched, or has unusual details, you may be holding something extraordinary. Next, have it evaluated by a trusted grading service. Remember, professional authentication is the key that unlocks real market value. And here's the cliffhanger I promised you. Imagine this. Somewhere in America, right now, another 1961 D penny is waiting to be discovered. It could be tucked inside a safe, sitting unnoticed in a drawer, or resting in a box of old family change. The next life-changing coin hasn't been found yet. Could it be yours? Here's the truth. Opportunities like this don't come every day. Coins like this aren't just metal, they're stepping stones to generational wealth. They're the whispers of history reminding us that even the smallest things can hold the greatest treasures. So before you dismiss the coins in your pocket, Before you roll them up and hand them to the bank, stop and think. That penny in your hand could be the start of your wealthy lifestyle. The window of opportunity is open right now. Don't let fear of the unknown stop you. Be bold. Check your coins. Get them appraised. And who knows, the next story of $1 million penny could be your story. Because sometimes, fortune doesn't come from chasing the big things. Sometimes it's been hiding in plain sight. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies, the kind we all used to keep in the kitchen, and pulling out what looks like just another worn copper coin. Now imagine finding out that this single penny could change your life forever. What if I told you that the 1967 Lincoln Memorial penny without a mint mark could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, you heard me right. A penny that most people would ignore, toss aside, or even use to scratch a lottery ticket could hold the key to financial freedom. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to tell if you already own one, and what steps you must take before it slips through your fingers and into someone else's pocket. In 1967, the United States Mint was under pressure. The coin shortage of the mid-60s had thrown the economy into chaos. To solve the crisis, the Mint suspended proof sets, eliminated mint marks, and pushed coins into circulation as fast as they could. Every penny struck that year carried no mint mark, blending in with millions of others. Most people never gave it a second thought. It was just another copper coin, worth 1 cent. But hidden among these ordinary pieces are extraordinary treasures. Certain 1967 pennies, because of unique errors, exceptional condition, or extremely rare variations, are now being hunted by collectors with deep pockets. And one recently sold for a staggering $967,000. Now pause for a moment and think. How many times in your life have you brushed off a penny on the sidewalk or dumped your change into a vending machine? How many of those were from 1967? Funny enough, a lot of people joke about pennies being useless. But tell me this. If a penny could pay off your mortgage, buy you a new house, or even set you up for retirement, would you ever look at them the same way again? Here's the catch. Not every 1967 penny is worth a fortune. The vast majority are still worth just 1 cent. So what makes one penny worth $1 million, while another sits forgotten in a dusty drawer? It comes down to 3 critical factors: rarity, condition, and demand. First, rarity. Certain 1967 pennies were struck with errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or weak details that make them stand out. Second, condition. A pristine penny, untouched by circulation, graded by professionals as mint state, can skyrocket in value. And third, demand. Collectors crave these coins because they represent a turning point in American coin history, when mint marks disappeared and chaos ruled the U.S. Mint. This is where the urgency comes in. These coins are disappearing fast. Every day, more are being lost, damaged, or hoarded away by collectors. The window to find one in your own collection is closing. But here's the thrilling twist. Many of these valuable pennies are still hiding in plain sight, tucked away in old piggy banks, coffee tins, or forgotten boxes in your attic. When was the last time you checked the date on your pocket change? Yesterday? Last week? Never? Because that innocent little coin rolling around in your car cup holder might be worth more than the car itself. So, what should you do if you find a 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny? First, don't clean it. Cleaning coins destroys their value. Second, handle it carefully. Oils from your fingers can reduce its grade. Third, get it appraised by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. This is your chance to take a single cent and turn it into nearly $1 million. A single coin can open doors to a new home, a dream vacation, a college fund for your kids, or the financial freedom you've been craving. And here's the part that should excite you most. This isn't some distant lottery dream. This is real, tangible, sitting in your pocket wealth that you can discover today. But remember, the clock is ticking. As collectors snatch up these treasures, the supply is shrinking, and when rarity meets demand, values explode. So tonight, before you go to bed, grab that jar of change, pour it out on the table, and look closely. That ordinary penny you've overlooked your entire life could be your once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden fortune in your pocket change, don't stop here. Subscribe for more secrets about rare coins that could transform your financial future. Share this video with friends and family, because you never know who might be sitting on the next $1 million penny. Remember this, fortune doesn't always come in gold bars or winning lottery tickets. Sometimes it hides in the smallest coin of all, a simple penny. Imagine this. You're holding a single penny in your hand. Just 1 cent, something most people wouldn't even bother to bend down and pick up off the sidewalk. Now imagine discovering that this very penny could be worth $968,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $1 million for one coin that you might already have tucked away in a jar, a drawer, or hidden inside an old wallet. This isn't fantasy. This is the astonishing truth behind the 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Cent, but here's the catch. Most people don't even know what to look for. They spend years surrounded by forgotten coins, without realizing they could be sitting on a once-in-a-lifetime fortune. So let me ask you, have you ever ignored those old pennies at the bottom of your change jar? So this story is for you. Because today, I'm going to reveal how one ordinary cent became a treasure worth nearly $1 million, and how you could be holding wealth without even knowing it. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you look at every single coin you own. First, let's step back. The year is 1968. America is changing. The Vietnam War is raging. Martin Luther King Jr. has just been assassinated, and the country is divided. In the middle of all this chaos, millions of Lincoln Memorial cents are struck. Most of them, ordinary, just your average penny. But buried in that ocean of copper lies a mystery. Some of these coins were minted without a mint mark. Nodi. No S. Nothing. Now you might ask, what's the big deal? Isn't it just a tiny detail? That's where the story twists. Because in the world of coin collecting, small details mean the difference between pocket change and a life-changing fortune. Think about it. A missing letter, something so easy to overlook, can instantly transform a common penny into a 6- or even 7-figure masterpiece. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. These no-mint mark pennies from 1968 aren't just rare. They're elusive. They almost feel like ghosts. Collectors whisper about them. Auction houses chase them. And the few that surface ignite bidding wars that shock even the experts. One recently sold for a staggering $968,000. Yes, almost $1 million just for a penny. Now let me pause for a moment. Imagine if you found one of these in your home. Would you keep it? Or would you sell it and use the money to change your life forever? Buy your dream home? Retire early? Secure your family's future? Because that's what we're really talking about here. Not just coins, but freedom, opportunity, wealth hidden in plain sight. But wait, before you start tearing apart your change jars, there's something important you must know. Here's the real secret. Not every 1968 penny without a mint mark is valuable. Counterfeits exist. Mistakes happen. And if you don't know how to identify the real thing, you could let $1 million treasure slip right through your fingers. That's why knowledge is power. You need to know what to look for: weight, details on Lincoln's portrait, the crispness of the strike, and the absence of that tiny mint mark. These are the signs that separate history-making coins from common copper. And here's where the fear comes in. Every day, people unknowingly spend coins worth thousands, sometimes millions, just to buy a coffee. They don't check. They don't know. They don't believe. But you're here now. You know the truth. And the question is, will you act on it? Let me put it this way. You have two choices. You can laugh this off, toss your pennies aside, and hope fortune somehow finds you. Or you can step into the world of rare coins, take control, and discover whether you're already holding a treasure that could transform your future. So I'll ask again. Have you checked your coins? Have you really looked at them? Because somewhere out there, hidden in plain sight, lies a 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Cent. And it's waiting for someone brave enough, curious enough, and wise enough to recognize its true worth. Will that person be you? Don't wait. Time and opportunity are slipping away with every coin that changes hands. And here's the final twist. If you think the 1968 penny is impressive, wait until you hear about another Lincoln cent that shocked the world by crossing the $1 million mark. A coin so rare it made collectors lose their breath. But that is a story for another time. So check your change. Check your jars. Because wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street. Sometimes it comes from a single penny. Imagine this. You're holding a penny. Just 1 cent, small, brown, almost forgettable. You toss it into a jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that very penny could be worth nearly $1 million? Yes, a 1972 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark. On the surface, it looks like the millions of others produced in that year. Ordinary, unremarkable. But beneath the copper surface lies a story that could change the course of your life. And before you think this is just another coin video, let me stop you. Because today, we're not just talking about coins. We're talking about opportunity, hidden wealth, and the terrifying thought that you might have already spent a fortune without even knowing it. So here's my challenge to you. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover will not only show you the shocking value of a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, currently selling for as high as $972,000, but also how to know if you have one in your own possession. Ask yourself this. What would you do if a single penny changed your life? Let's rewind for a moment. The year is 1972. America is in transition. Gas is cheap. The Vietnam War is raging. And the U.S. Mint is producing billions of pennies with Abraham Lincoln's face. Most of these pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. But among them, a few rare pieces slipped through, coins struck with unusual doubling errors, coins without mint marks, coins whose small imperfections turned them into treasures. Now here's the fascinating part. While some collectors hunt for nickels, dimes, or silver dollars, it's often the humble penny, yes, the one you ignore at the bottom of your car cup holder, that holds the most extraordinary surprises. And this is where the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny steps in. To the untrained eye, it looks like pocket change. But to those in the know, it's a golden ticket. A ticket that has fetched close to $1 million at auction. Let me pause and ask you a question. Have you ever thrown away a penny because it seemed useless? If you have, you might want to check your couch cushions right now. Because fortune has a funny way of hiding in plain sight. Here's the kicker. Most people will never bother to look. They'll dismiss this video. They'll shrug their shoulders. And years later, they'll read about someone who found this coin in an old jar, and they'll say, "That could have been me, but not you. You're here. You're watching. You're listening. And that means you're already one step ahead." So, what makes this penny worth nearly $1 million? 3 things: rarity, condition, and demand. The rarity comes from the fact that not every 1972 penny was struck the same. A small handful were produced with no mint mark, and some with dramatic double-die errors on the obverse. These small differences, invisible to most, are priceless to collectors. The condition? That's critical. A penny in circulation, scratched and worn, might fetch a few hundred. But a pristine example, uncirculated, sharp in every detail, that's where life-changing numbers appear. And then comes demand. Wealthy collectors, investors, and auction houses fight over these coins, driving the value up to astronomical levels. One such penny reached a jaw-dropping $972,000. Now imagine this. You're at home. You go through an old coin jar, and suddenly you find one. Your heart pounds. Your palms sweat. Could it be? You take it to an expert, and they confirm it. You're holding the very coin we're talking about today. Would that change your life? Would that wipe away your debts? Fund your dreams? Secure your family's future? Here's the truth. Every single person watching this video has a choice: to shrug it off or to take action. To dig out those old jars, those old collections, those forgotten boxes in attics and basements. Because opportunities like this don't come twice. They don't wait. They don't knock again. And before we end, let me leave you with this thought. Penny may be small. Penny may be ordinary. But so is opportunity until someone seizes it. So check your coins. Take them seriously. Because that 1 cent piece in your hand could be the key to $972,000. And the life you've always dreamed of. And now I'll ask you one final question. What would you trade for the chance to turn a penny into a fortune? Imagine opening an old coffee jar in the attic and finding a dusty copper coin. You glance at it, shrug, and almost toss it back. But wait, that ordinary-looking 1978 Lincoln Memorial penny, with no mint mark, could be worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills. Yes, you heard me right. One single cent, struck over 4 decades ago, now carries a current market value of $978,000. Almost $1 million for a coin most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. Now let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked the dates on the pennies in your change? Exactly. Most of us don't. And that's why treasures like these slip right past ordinary people every single day. So if you've ever dreamed of finding hidden wealth in the most unexpected place, stay with me until the end, because I'm about to reveal why the 1978 no mint mark penny has shocked collectors, how to tell if you have one, and why missing this information could mean missing your chance at generational wealth. But first, let's answer the question that might already be in your mind. How on earth can a 1-cent coin be worth close to $1 million? To understand this, you need to step back into the late 1970s. America was shifting. Gas prices were climbing, inflation was rising, and in the middle of it all, the U.S. Mint quietly struck millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Most were ordinary, copper alloy, predictable, and almost identical. But here's the twist. Some came out of the presses without a mint mark. A tiny detail missing. Yet that absence changed everything. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Really? All this for a missing letter?" Let me tell you this. In coin collecting, tiny details are everything. A misplaced mark, a doubled image, even a faint scratch from the die can turn a coin into a prize worth more than a luxury car. Or in this case, a fortune worth more than most retirement accounts. Think about it. We spend our lives looking for big opportunities, promotions, investments, businesses, but sometimes wealth hides in the smallest of details. A single missing mint mark. Here's the kicker. Most people don't even know what a mint mark is. It's that little letter under the date on your coin, usually a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But if yours is missing, you could be staring at history's mistake and the market's jackpot. Now, you may be wondering, why 1978 in particular? Why not 1977 or 1979? Great question. The late 70s was a period when quality control issues created a handful of anomalies. And in today's collector market, rarity plus demand equals astronomical value. And right now, the demand for flawless or unusual 1978 no mint mark pennies is exploding. Just last year, one sold at auction for $978,000. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing. But let me pause for a moment and ask, what would you do if you found one? Would you cash it in right away? Or hold it and watch the value climb? Imagine the possibilities. Paying off every bill, buying your dream house, retiring earlier than you ever thought possible. All from a coin worth 1 cent at face value. Feels surreal, doesn't it? And yet, it's real. Now here's where the urgency kicks in. Coins like this don't sit around forever. Collectors hunt them like sharks scenting blood in the water. Every day you wait is another chance for someone else to cash in on a penny you could have had in your pocket. So here's what you need to do. Tonight, yes, tonight, grab that jar of coins. Empty your piggy banks. Check the back of your dresser drawer. Look through every single penny dated 1978. And when you find one, look closely. If it's missing a mint mark, and if it's in pristine condition, you may be holding a coin that could transform your financial future. And listen, don't fall into the trap of saying, it's probably nothing, because that's what the last person who missed out said too. Remember, opportunity never looks obvious when it first arrives. It hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as something ordinary, until someone smart enough or curious enough decides to look closer. Now let me leave you with this thought. Somewhere in America tonight, someone is going to check their change and discover a fortune. Will it be you, or will you let this moment slip through your fingers? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about a penny. It's about possibility. It's about seizing the chance to rewrite your story, to break free from limits, and to turn the smallest of details into the largest of rewards. So start looking. Your millionaire penny might be waiting right under your nose. Imagine this. You're holding a coin so common, so ordinary, that you could swear it isn't worth more than a single cent. You find it in a drawer, or maybe tucked away in a forgotten jar of change. And yet, this one coin, a 1982 Lincoln Memorial penny, could transform your life in ways you never dreamed possible. Sounds impossible, right? But here's the shocking truth. One of these coins recently carried a jaw-dropping market value of $982,000. Almost $1 million. From a penny you might accidentally give away in a parking meter. So here's my question. What if you already have one sitting in your home right now? Would you recognize it? Or would you let a fortune slip through your fingers without ever knowing? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how one of the most overlooked coins in American history holds the power to change ordinary people's lives. But before we get too deep, let me interrupt myself with a quick laugh. If you're already digging through your couch cushions while listening to this, don't worry, you're not alone. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what you're looking for. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we need to travel back to 1982. It was a turning point in U.S. coinage. The price of copper was soaring, and the U.S. Mint made a bold move, switching from 95% copper pennies to coins mostly made of zinc, coated in just a thin layer of copper. Now, here's where things get tricky. During that year, both copper and zinc pennies were struck. Some had slight variations in design. And when you combine those transitional quirks with specific mint marks, like the 1982 you suddenly have a treasure hiding in plain sight. Collectors call them transitional errors. I call them life changers. Think about it. A coin minted to be worth 1 cent suddenly valued at nearly $1 million. That's the kind of twist that makes even the most skeptical person wonder. Am I sitting on a hidden fortune? But here's the catch. You can't just glance at any 1982 penny and assume you've struck gold. Oh no, that would be too easy. You need to know the exact signs. And that's what makes these coins so dangerous to ignore. Miss one detail and you could lose everything. So let me ask. Are you the kind of person who notices small details? Because the difference between copper and zinc pennies could mean the difference between a penny and a mansion. Now, let's get practical. How do you identify the fortune-bearing 1982 Lincoln penny? First, the weight. Copper pennies from 1982 weigh about 3.11 grams, while zinc versions weigh 2.5 grams. You'll need a small scale, nothing fancy. You can grab one online for a few bucks. Second, the mint mark. The D under the date signifies the Denver Mint. Certain variations of this 1982 especially transitional errors struck on copper planchets when zinc was supposed to be used, are the holy grail. And third, the condition. Remember, coin collectors live for perfection. The closer your penny is to uncirculated condition, the higher its value skyrockets. That's where we get into the hundreds of thousands. And yes, the $982,000 range. But here's the part most people miss. These coins are rare, yes, but not mythical. They're out there, still in circulation, still hidden in collections, still sitting in boxes people haven't opened in decades, which means your chance is very real. Now let's pause for a pattern interrupt. Imagine explaining this to a friend. Yeah, I paid my morning coffee with $1 million penny. Their face? Priceless. So here's the choice in front of you. Tonight, you can throw your change in a jar, ignore it, and carry on with life as usual. Or you can take 10 minutes, dig into that old stash of coins, and maybe, just maybe, uncover a piece of history worth more than most people's houses. But don't think too long. Coins like these are being discovered and claimed every single year. And every coin that surfaces makes the next one harder to find. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, pulling out a single penny, and realizing it could change your entire financial future. What if I told you that one seemingly ordinary coin from 1991, a Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, is making headlines because its value has skyrocketed into the hundreds of thousands, with a current market estimate of $991,000. That's right, 1 cent, almost $1 million fortune. Now, here's the real question. How many times have you walked past loose change, dropped pennies in parking lots, or ignored that heavy old coffee can of coins in your garage? What if one of those pennies is the golden ticket you've been waiting for? Stay with me because in the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey through the shocking story of the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it is so valuable, and exactly how to know if you might be holding one in your own hands. But be warned, by the end of this story, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Let's start with the basics. In 1991, billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies were struck. They were meant to be common pocket change. But here's the twist. Most of those coins carry a tiny mint mark, showing where they were produced. Yet a few slipped through the cracks, with no mint mark at all. That missing mark is no accident. It's a mistake, a rarity born out of the imperfections of the minting process. And in the world of collectors, a tiny error like that can be the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth a life-changing fortune. Now, imagine the thrill of spotting it. You're holding a copper-red coin, you flip it over, and there's no mint mark beneath the date. Your heart skips a beat. Is this it? Could this be the one? Here's the truth. Collectors across the United States are hunting for this exact coin. Auctions have shown jaw-dropping numbers. And the latest market valuation for this penny with no mint mark, $991,000. Almost $1 million. Why so high? Because rarity is king. Out of billions struck, only a tiny fraction have this error. And the fewer there are, the more demand drives the price through the roof. But let me pause and ask you something. How many of you have a coin jar in your home right now? Be honest. We all do. That jar could be your retirement plan, your escape ticket, your chance to build the life of wealth you've always imagined. Yet most people never check. They ignore it. They think pennies are worthless. And that belief is costing them. Here's where it gets even more intense. Some of these coins don't just slip into circulation. They hide in plain sight, at the bottom of drawers, old wallets, inherited boxes from parents and grandparents. Which means the next millionaire collector might not be a dealer, but an everyday person who decided to finally look. And let's face it, isn't there something thrilling about the idea that hidden treasure could be sitting right in your home? So what do you do now? Here's the roadmap. First, pull out every 1991 Lincoln penny you can find. Check the date carefully. Now look directly beneath it. Do you see a D? Do you see an S? If you see nothing at all, that's when your pulse should race. That's when you realize you might be holding something extraordinary. But don't stop there. Condition matters. The shinier, the sharper, the crisper the coin looks, the more powerful its value. Some rare finds in pristine condition have pushed the market to nearly $1 million. Now imagine this. You find the coin. You hold it in your hand. Suddenly, all the doubts vanish. This penny isn't just copper. It's a doorway, a key to financial freedom. That's when you realize your story has just changed forever. And let me warn you, do not just throw this coin on eBay for quick cash. The real wealth comes from having it authenticated and graded by trusted professionals. A coin this rare must be handled with absolute care, because one mistake could cost you hundreds of thousands. So here's your challenge. Don't wait. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Go look today. Open those jars. Dig through those shoeboxes. Because every day you wait, another collector is out there searching, hoping to find what you might already own. This is the moment to act. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol of hidden wealth, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in life are sitting right under our noses. And here's the cliffhanger. This 1991 penny is not the only one. There are other coins, other years, other mistakes worth just as much, sometimes even more. So if you thought this was exciting, wait until you see what else might be hiding in your pocket change. Subscribe now because in my next video, I'm going to reveal another coin that could turn your spare change into a millionaire's dream. And trust me, you won't want to miss it. Imagine for a moment, you reach into an old jar of coins tucked away in the back of your kitchen cabinet. You pull out what looks like an ordinary 1994 Lincoln Memorial penny. It's scratched, it's dull, it's been tossed around for decades. But what if I told you that same penny without a mint mark could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds impossible, right? 1 cent transforming into $994,000. But stay with me because this isn't a fairy tale. It's a very real opportunity. One that's hiding in plain sight in pockets, drawers, and forgotten piggy banks across America. And here's the kicker. Most people are letting these coins slip right through their fingers because they don't know what to look for. Pause for a second and think. How many pennies have you handled in your life without a second glance? Hundreds? Thousands? What if just one of those could have changed your entire financial destiny? That's why today, I'm going to reveal everything you need to know about the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, how to spot it, why it's so valuable, and how to turn what looks like pocket change into a life-changing payday. And trust me, you'll want to watch until the very end, because the secret behind this coin's value is more shocking than you can imagine. Let's start with the basics. Most 1994 pennies were minted either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Usually, you'll see a small D or S below the date, but in extremely rare cases, a coin leaves the mint with no mark at all. That's the red flag. That tiny missing letter transforms an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. Now, why does this happen? Minting errors, simple accidents. But those accidents can translate into fortunes for collectors. It's the rarity that drives the price through the roof. Think of it this way: diamonds aren't valuable because they're shiny. They're valuable because they're rare. The same logic applies here. Here's where the excitement and fear comes in. Most people toss these coins back into circulation, never realizing what they had. That means every single day, another person might be spending away what could have been their retirement fund. Imagine using $1 million penny to buy a gumball. Painful, right? Now here's something that might interrupt your thinking. Why on earth are we still calling these pennies? They're worth more than most cars, more than most houses. At this point, maybe we should start calling them mini mansions in copper. Humor aside, let's get serious. Collectors are in bidding wars for these coins. Just last year, one example hit the market and reached a staggering $994,000 in valuation. That's nearly $1 million for a coin that cost 1 cent to produce. And here's where it gets interesting. Most people think, well, I'll never find one of those. But the truth? These coins are still out there. They're not just locked away in museums. They're in circulation, in everyday hands, maybe even in yours right now. But wait, don't run off to your coin jar yet. Because knowing what to look for is the difference between striking gold and wasting time. So how do you identify if your 1994 penny is one of these rare treasures? Step 1. Look at the date. Step 2. Check underneath it. If you see a small D or S, it's ordinary. If you see nothing, no mint mark at all, then your heart should start racing. That's the one. But here's the twist. Not every no-mint mark penny will fetch you millions. Condition is everything. Collectors will pay top dollar only for coins in pristine or near-perfect shape. That's where grading comes in. Professional grading services can verify your coin, certify its authenticity, and make sure buyers trust its value. And this is where urgency matters. Because the longer these coins are known, the more they're hunted down. That means fewer left in circulation, fewer chances to find one, and more competition driving the market. Think about it. What if today was your last chance to check your coin jar before someone else cashes in on theirs? Would you take it, or would you let opportunity slip by? This isn't just about money. It's about legacy, freedom, and security. Imagine paying off your home, sending your kids to college debt-free, retiring early, all from a single penny. Now here's the cliffhanger I promised. Some experts believe there are still hidden varieties of the 1994 penny we haven't fully uncovered yet. Meaning, the coin you're holding might be even rarer than the one that sold for nearly $1 million. So before you move on to the next video or toss your change aside, ask yourself one last question. What if the key to your financial freedom is already sitting in your pocket? Imagine this. You're standing at a gas station counter, you hand over a wrinkled dollar bill, and the cashier gives you 3 pennies in change. You slip them into your pocket, completely unaware that one of those tiny copper coins could pay off your house, wipe away every credit card bill, and even fund the retirement you thought you'd never have. Yes, a simple 1998 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, a coin that most people toss in a jar, leave under couch cushions, or forget at the bottom of a drawer, is now commanding a market value of nearly $1 million. One coin, one chance, one hidden fortune. Now, before you laugh and say, a penny? Come on, that can't be real. Let me remind you that history is full of people who ignored opportunity until it was too late. How many of us regret selling something too soon? Stocks, houses, even Bitcoin. This is no different. So why is this ordinary-looking penny suddenly worth a life-changing amount? And how do you know if you might have one sitting unnoticed in your home right now? Stay with me because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for, and I promise you will never look at your change the same way again. Let's rewind to 1998. Bill Clinton was president, Titanic had just broken box office records, and millions of pennies poured out of the US Mint. Most of them were unremarkable. But here's the twist. Not all coins are created equal. A select few, the 1998 Lincoln Memorial pennies with no mint mark, slipped into circulation like ghosts. No one noticed. Not the cashiers. Not the banks. Not even the collectors at first. And that's what makes them so dangerous to ignore. They hide in plain sight. Think of it like this. You could be walking past a diamond on the sidewalk every day, but if you don't know what a diamond looks like, you'll kick it aside as a piece of glass. That's exactly what's happening with this coin. Now, here's where fear creeps in. Right now, as we speak, there are people who had one of these coins in their hands, and they spent it for gumballs, for coffee, for absolutely nothing. That's not just change lost. That's $998,000 gone forever. Imagine that sinking feeling. But let's flip that fear into excitement. Imagine you are the one who finds it. Imagine opening that old coffee can of coins in your garage, or the dusty jar at your grandma's house, and seeing a penny that everyone else overlooked. That's the stuff of legends. Now let me ask you this. If you had $1 million lottery ticket sitting in your wallet, would you throw it in a vending machine? Of course not. Yet, every day, people are spending this very coin without ever realizing it. So here's the cliffhanger. What exactly makes the 1998 no-mint mark penny worth nearly $1 million? Is it a mistake? Is it rare metal? Is it history? The truth is, it's all of those things combined. And we're about to break it down. Here's what you need to know. The 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is a rare production anomaly. Most pennies were struck with a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But some escaped the presses completely blank of a mint mark. That subtle absence, that tiny missing letter, transforms this coin from pocket change into a financial weapon. Collectors go wild for it. Why? Because it tells a story of imperfection in a system designed for precision. It's the rebel of American coinage, the outlier, the one that slipped through the cracks. And scarcity always fuels value. Now, add condition to the equation. If your penny is clean, uncirculated, and flawless under magnification, the value skyrockets. That's why pristine examples are now reaching jaw-dropping figures, the most recent market price hovering at $998,000. Think about that. Less than $1 in your hand, suddenly worth more than most people's yearly income, more than many people's life savings. But here's the urgency. Opportunities like this don't stay hidden forever. Once collectors lock these coins into private vaults, the chance to find one diminishes by the day. And every coin spent unknowingly, every coin lost to time, makes the remaining survivors even more valuable. So here's the big question. Do you have one? Don't shrug this off. Tonight, go to your drawer, your piggy bank, your old coffee cans, and start looking. Pull out every 1998 penny. Check if it has no mint mark. If it does, handle it with care because you may be holding the key to financial freedom. Because here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley or big business. Sometimes, it's hiding in your pocket, disguised as the smallest coin in America. So don't make the mistake of overlooking this golden chance. Stay curious. Stay alert. And remember, one penny could be worth your future. Now let me ask you, and be honest, if you found this coin today, would you keep it as a treasure or cash it in for the lifestyle you've always dreamed of? The choice is yours. But either way, promise me this, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Because sometimes the tiniest things carry the biggest fortunes. Imagine this. You're holding a penny. Ordinary. Familiar. Just 1 cent. You toss it into a jar, maybe under the couch, maybe into the hands of a cashier. And you never think about it again. But what if I told you that one of these seemingly worthless 2006 Lincoln Memorial pennies with the small D mint mark, has been valued at a staggering $206,000 in today's market. Let me say that again, 1 cent turned into $206,000. Now pause for a moment. Ask yourself, how many pennies have you touched, dropped, ignored in your lifetime? How many of those might have been treasures in disguise? Here's the unsettling truth. Most people walk past small fortunes every single day. But you're here, which means you're ready to pay attention. And by the end of this video, you'll know not only why the 2006 D Lincoln Memorial cent can be worth a fortune, but also how to spot one, how to protect it, and how a single coin could be the first step toward the wealthy lifestyle most people only dream of. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, you need to understand the secret story hidden in this coin. Back in 2006, the US Mint produced billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. They were everywhere. Ordinary pocket change. But inside that ocean of copper-plated zinc, a few coins were struck with errors, unusual characteristics, or flawless conditions so rare that collectors today are willing to pay hundreds of thousands to own them. It sounds unbelievable, right? That's the beauty of it. The rarity hides in plain sight. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. The Denver Mint, the little d you'll see under the year 2006, produced a massive number of coins. But among them, a tiny percentage had perfect strikes, unique die errors, or near-pristine preservation. These are the coins that set the market on fire. You might be wondering what makes collectors lose their minds over a penny. Why would anyone pay $200,000 for one? The answer is prestige and scarcity. Imagine being one of only a handful of people on Earth who owns a flawless, mint-condition 2006 D Lincoln penny. That's not just ownership, it's bragging rights. It's legacy. And here's the kicker. The record market value right now stands at $206,000. Yes, for a single penny. Let me interrupt myself for a second. If that number doesn't make you glance at your coin jar right now, you might be watching the wrong video. But before you rush off, let me share a secret. The people who actually profit from rare coins aren't just the ones who stumble across them. They're the ones who know what to look for, who educate themselves, and who take action before everyone else wakes up to the opportunity. Think about it. Right now, thousands of people are searching their collections. But only a fraction know the specific signs that separate a $200,000 treasure from an ordinary cent. Are you starting to feel the urgency? Good. Because that urgency is exactly what could change your financial future. So how do you know if your 2006 D Lincoln Memorial cent could be worth life-changing money? First, look for condition. Coins in flawless, uncirculated states, meaning no scratches, no wear, no dullness, are the top contenders. Grading agencies like PCGS or NGC can certify this, and the highest grades sell for astronomical sums. Second, look for errors. Double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned features. These accidents in the minting process are like golden tickets in the coin world. Collectors fight over them. Third, rarity within rarity. Even a coin that looks ordinary might be a gem if it sits at the very top of the population report, the highest graded example known. Imagine owning the single best-preserved 2006 D penny in the world. That's where six-figure valuations come in. And here's the final truth. Timing matters. The market for rare coins is surging. Collectors are paying more today than ever before, and competition is fierce. Waiting could mean missing out. Now, let me leave you with this cliffhanger. Right now, somewhere in America, there's a jar sitting in a kitchen, a drawer in an old desk, or a forgotten coin collection in an attic. And inside, there could be another 2006 D Lincoln cent waiting to be discovered. The only question is, will it be found by you or by someone else? Don't let fear of missing out become your story. Let action and discovery be your story. Check your pennies. Learn the signs. Get them appraised. Because that small, overlooked coin in your hand could be the key to living not just comfortably, but abundantly.